Well, happy Friday, everyone. So glad you could join us.
Happy Friday. Yeah, great to be digging into things again.
We are, as you know, part of the H7O ministry, and today we're excited to share some insights.
That's right. We're drawing directly from today's H7O daily devotional.
Yeah.
That's our source material for this deep dive.
Exactly. And the focus today is, well, it's a really powerful principle. It comes from Luke 16:10.
Ah, yes. Faithfulness in the little things.
He who is faithful in a very little is faithful also in much. You know the one.
And he who is unjust in a very little is unjust also in much. It's pretty direct.
It really is. So our goal here, our mission in this deep dive is to kind of unpack why. Why did Jesus stress this? Especially like right after telling that story.
The parable of the unfaithful steward. Yeah,
Yeah.
the timing is significant.
Right. And what does it actually mean for us, right here, right now? Why do these seemingly small things, why do they matter so much?
Well, the devotional really points to that context you mentioned.
Yeah.
Jesus says this immediately after the parable about the steward, the one who gets caught mismanaging funds,
Mm-hmm.
and then quickly uses what's left to kind of secure his own future with the debtors.
Yeah.
It can feel a bit ethically confusing when you first read it.
Totally. You read it and think, hold on, is Jesus actually praising dishonesty here?
No, not at all. And the devotional clarifies this really well. Jesus isn't praising the dishonesty.
Yeah.
He's pointing out the steward's, his purposefulness.
Purposefulness.
Yeah, and his urgency.
Yeah.
How focused he was on preparing for his future, even though it was, a worldly future built on things that don't last.
Ah, okay. So Jesus is contrasting that.
Exactly. Contrasting it with how believers sometimes might lack that same urgency or focus when handling the resources God gives us, resources meant for an eternal future.
Okay. Let's really get into this then. So how we handle the little things, and that could be money, sure, but also time, opportunities, even like private moments when nobody's watching.
Right.
It's not just about doing the task. It's like a test, a mirror for our character.
Precisely. The devotional puts it perfectly. God uses the everyday, the small stuff, the mundane tasks to test our hearts.
Yeah.
And, crucially, to build faithfulness.
So it's not just the big dramatic decisions.
Not at all. It's the quiet choices. How you handle that unexpected $10 you find, what you do with 5 extra minutes. Do you follow through on a small commitment? Even like the integrity of your words when the stakes seem low.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't just random little actions. They're like reps. They form habits. They build character.
That clicks. Yeah. Character isn't formed in one big heroic moment. It's forged in those consistent, quiet choices, day after day.
Faithfulness in the small things creates a reliable pattern, a track record, if you will.
Okay.
And the devotion also highlights the flip side, which is just as important. Small acts of carelessness, tiny compromises, being lazy about the little duties.
They're not isolated incidents.
No. They're like tiny cracks. If you ignore them, they can widen. They can become major flaws or lead to bigger compromises later on.
Wow. Okay. So this really challenges how we think about stewardship, doesn't it? The source material basically asks us to consider every decision we make with what we're given: time, talent, money, attention.
Everything.
It reveals who or what we really belong to.
Wow.
Are we managing these little things thinking about God's kingdom, or are we just treating them like our own stuff for right now?
And that leads to a really practical question for you, the listener, to reflect on. How have you been handling the little things God has placed in your hands? The resources, the opportunities, the relationships you have right now?
Are you seeing them as seeds, potential for something lasting in God's kingdom?
Or are they just things to be used carelessly, maybe even selfishly?
Or maybe are you kind of waiting for some big chance down the road, a better job, more money, a bigger stage, before you really decide to get serious and faithful?
Right, while maybe neglecting the small but really significant opportunities you have today.
So the practical takeaway from the devotional seems really clear then.
Be intentional. Intentional about stewardship in the small things. Your daily schedule, how you handle your finances, down to the last penny, how you use your skills, how you treat the people around you.
These are the testing grounds.
Exactly. Excellence, honesty, even when it seems minor. That honors God. That builds integrity.
And it's not about instant perfection, right? But about trying to be intentional, acknowledging that every little thing can be part of God's plan for your growth.
And definitely, the devotional reminds us, pray for wisdom, ask God to help you manage well what you already have.
Yeah.
Not just praying for more stuff.
Yeah, manage well.
So, ultimately, the core message from the devotional today is this. Faithfulness isn't really proven under the bright lights or in some huge once-in-a-lifetime event.
No.
It's built, it's tested, it's proven in the ordinary, and how we consistently handle the little things God gives us right now.
And that final thought from the devotional really hits home, doesn't it? Don't wait. Don't wait for what you think are great things or big opportunities to start being obedient and faithful.
Start today. Be diligent, be trustworthy in the few things God has given you right now.
Because that's how God builds that lasting testimony in your life. That's how he prepares you for whatever is next.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive today.
Yes, thank you. And a huge thank you to our whole H7O community. We really appreciate you being on this journey with us.
If you want to learn more about the H7O ministry, or maybe find ways to support the work we do, you can check out our website.
That's h7o.life. h7o.life.
We hope this was encouraging for you today.
See you tomorrow. Blessing.